This window is your stage. This is where you're going to do a lot of your work or most of your work. This is your toolbox here over on this left side here. This down here at the bottom is your timeline. This is an additional window here, and this is an additional window here. You see this red outline around this main window, the stage. If I click down here, you'll see that red outline now goes around your timeline window. If I click here, it goes around this window. If I click here, it goes around this window. So the window you're working in, you'll know it's the activated window or view because it has the red outline. Notice in your windows at the upper left, you have tabs. Here we have a tab, camera and drawing. And the other windows also have tabs. Now, I'm going to focus on the window tabs here in the stage area. What we're looking at right now, this is the camera window view. And I'm middle mouse scrolling to zoom in and out. And you can see there's this like gray outline. That is your screen basically. This is a view as if you were looking through a camera. If you're looking through a camera, you see all the artwork and everything in the scene. This is like you're looking at all your elements, everything in the scene within this field, okay? Now, if I go over here and click on the drawing tab, this gives me a drawing view where I'm only looking at a single element, like a single artwork or a single layer is another way I can call it. So this is a toggle between the two views. Now, if I want to close out a view, you'll notice there's a plus sign and an X sign next to the tabs on each of these windows. So in the upper right, you've got tabs and plus and X in each of these windows. In the timeline window down here, you have it in these windows, and you have it here. Clicking X will close out the selected view or tab. So now we only have camera, but I can always bring that back with the plus sign. I'll bring that drawing view back. You'll see when I click the plus sign, there's a lot of different views that I can add here. I can add a node view here. There we go. This is a whole nother window. Now I'm going to close out that node view, but I just wanted to show you that you can add views and add tabs. So I'm just going to jump right in. I want to start animating and doing a demo here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a ground plane. I'm going to start in my camera view, and I need to draw in a ground plane. Now, to create this ground plane, I need something to draw it on. I need like a piece of paper or a sketchbook, something to draw it in, a virtual piece of paper. So what I need to do is I need to add a layer. And we're going to do that in the timeline. Now, you'll notice in the timeline, we have these boxes here. These boxes are just like an image of film, like little boxes of film here. So each little box is like a picture of film that would go through the projector. 24 images going through the projector would be 1 second's worth of film. So it's called 24 frames per second. 24 FPS is what we see here in our timeline. Now we're looking at 60 frames or 60 little pictures here. So that would be 2.5 seconds. Now on this side of the timeline, this is where we get our layer. So the layers can be found in the timeline. Now we're going to add, like I said, we need like a drawing pad or virtual paper to draw on. So the way we do this is with this plus sign, we click here and we get a drawing layer. I just clicked on the drawing layer and I'm going to call this ground because will be like a ground plane. And I'll say add and close. So I just created that layer in the layer part of my timeline. Now over here, this additional window, I'm going to click on the node view. What this is showing me, this that says ground, this is the layer I just created. By default, it comes in with this drawing node. These are called nodes. They're little boxes, and they're basically pieces of information that are relating to these layers here. It's just a box of technical information. Let me get rid of this one. I'm going to click it and delete it because we don't really need that. So now this ground layer, I'm ready to draw. This is like getting my piece of paper. So I'm going to use this tool right here. This is predefined shapes, and I'm just going to do a rectangle. These are predefined shapes. I'm going to click, left mouse click, and left mouse click and drag. And I just created a ground plane in my camera view. Now I'm going to create a box or a cube on that ground plane. So I'm going to go, and I need a new piece of paper. Drawing, I'm calling it a piece of paper, but it's really a virtual piece of paper. And I'm going to call it cube. So now I've got a ground layer, I have a cube. Now I need to draw my cube on that ground layer using the same tool. There it is. Now I have a cube on the ground layer. Now if I go in the drawing view, just to show you, I'm only seeing the cube because my cube is the selected node. That's the drawing information. If I click this, I see the ground layer. So here I'm only seeing the individual elements. In the camera view, I see both. Okay, so now I want to start moving this. I'm starting at frame 1. This is going to happen at frame 1. Now, to animate something, we have transformations. Right now, like I said, there's drawing information in this cube. The drawing information is this cube that I just drew here. This also has transformation information. I'm going to click on this little box here. This will open the properties, so we're getting more information. Like this is more of the technical information that we can see. And it's set, there's tabs in here, drawing. This is what we're looking at. I'm not going to go into depth in this right now because it's too complicated for this demo. But I want you to see this transformation tab where it says position, scale, rotation. These are changes that can take place over time. Position is we can move it. We're going to animate it or move it. You can scale it. Scale means make bigger or smaller. Rotate means we rotate it. So these are transformations. Position, scale, rotation. Okay? Now, what I want to do though, to actually move this, I'm going to want to create a whole new node called a peg node. A peg node has only transformation information. And the reason I want to do this, I want to keep this clean. I'm going to keep my drawing information on this node, and instead of using the transformation information within this node, I'm going to create the whole new node called peg. So I go to the node library in the timeline. I can toggle to this node library, and I'm going to grab a peg and drag and drop it up here. This has transformation information, and I'm going to plug it in to that cube. So this, again, this has transformation information. Now I'm going to use the transformation tool. This is a transformation tool. And with this peg selected, you'll see if I rotate, you see how this cube is rotating around that little point there? That's called the pivot point. That's the pivot point for this peg. I want to move it to the center of this object. This is the tool I use. This is a rotation tool. I'm going to reposition that pivot point. I might not put it exactly in the center, but pretty close to the center there. Now when I use this, it rotates around that pivot point. So the transformations, position, rotate, and scale work relative to that pivot point. Now at frame 1, let me show my timeline window again. We're at frame 1. I'm going to move this off screen. What we're going to do is we're going to have this cube drop in and just drop onto the ground plane there. So I'm starting it off screen at frame 1. So I'll let this happen in 14 frames. So a little more than half a second. It's going to end up down at the ground plane here. Now you'll notice when I'm scrubbing through the timeline here, we're starting with the cube way up here on frame 1. I'm going to deselect so you can see it better. If I go to the next frame, they disappear. So the way this works in Harmony, we need to tell Harmony that this is showing only on one frame right now, but we want it to be exposed or shown on all 60 frames, and the ground plane too. We want both of those items shown for the whole 60 frames. So I'm going to select both of them here in the timeline, right mouse click, say, where is it? It's exposure. We're going to extend exposure, and we're going to say extend to frame 60. And you'll see the timeline changed. It's now covering all those little boxes, which are images. So it's now holding on for all that time.